Are you thinking of moving to Salem, Oregon? Well, you are not alone. You're curious why these people are locating to Salem, Oregon faster than I can chow down on a whole baguette? Well, grab a snack and let's dive right into why people are actually relocating here. I'm Claire Diod, and on this channel, I talk all about things related to Salem, Oregon and the surrounding towns. And today we're exploring why Salem, Oregon is quickly becoming a go-to destination for so many people across the country. From its ideal location to its lower cost of living, Salem, Oregon has a lot going for it. Stick around until the end because I am saving the most shocking reason why people are relocating to Salem for the very end of this video. The first largest reason why my clients are citing that they are moving to Salem, Oregon is because of the overall lower cost of living when you compare Salem to other major West Coast cities like Portland, Seattle, San Diego, or Los Angeles. Now, the cost of living is going to be relative depending on where you're coming from, but I know for a lot of you who are watching these videos, the cost of living on the West Coast in general seems incredibly high. But let's take a step back for a moment and get a little bit of perspective. The median home sale for a single family house in Salem right now, as of August 2024, is at $435,000. If you look at the chart here for the other major West Coast cities, all of the median sales price for these homes are so much higher. Now, if you are coming from a lower cost of living state, you might look at these numbers and think that they are incredibly high. And yeah, that is true if you are coming from a lower cost of living state. But if we look at this list, we can see that Salem, Oregon has the lowest median sales price for the major West Coast cities. For a lot of people thinking about moving to the Pacific Northwest or the West Coast in general, affordability is likely high on their list. And that's why Salem is a great option if you are looking for a more affordable West Coast city. Oftentimes, you can get a larger and better house here in Salem for a more affordable price tag than you could get for any of the other major West Coast cities on this list. So for a lot of my YouTube clients who are interested in selling their house and moving to Salem, they are oftentimes very surprised about what a bigger, better house they can get for cheaper than they could wherever they are relocating from. Now, do be mindful that if you're relocating to Salem right now, the median home sales price is at $435,000. What that means is that the average house you can expect to pay $435,000 and is typically going to get you a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house around 1,500 square feet. The next major reason why people are deciding to relocate to Salem, Oregon is because of our weather. We have 4 distinct seasons here in Salem, which means that you are going to be able to experience a true summer, fall, winter, and springtime. The summertime here in Salem starts from about June and goes through about the end of August, and you can expect that it is mostly sunshine and temperatures that range from the mid-70s to the high 90s. Now, we do occasionally get stretches that are over the 100-degree mark, but that is not the norm for the entire summertime. As we get closer to August and September, you can expect that the beautiful, lush greenery starts to dry out before the rainy season starts again. Fall here in Salem, Oregon starts from about mid-September and continues until about mid-November. And during this time, you can expect chillier weather, anywhere from about 40 degrees to 60 degrees. You're also going to see that the leaves are starting to change colors and falling to the ground, and we do get more misty rain during this time. A lot of my YouTube clients love the idea of cozy fall weather, and that is exactly what you get here in the Pacific Northwest. It is the picture-perfect version of fall from the movies. We have different fall activities like pumpkin patches, hot apple cider made fresh from the apples at the surrounding orchards around Salem, and we have your ideal version of Halloween with leaves falling to the ground. The winter here starts at about the end of November and continues through the end of February. Sometimes it does extend a little bit through the beginning of March. And during the winter time, you can expect that it's going to have gray skies, mostly rainy or overcast every single day, and the the temperatures get to be around 30 degrees and up to about 50 degrees during the winter time. We do sometimes have ice storms, but for the most part, we are not a city that expects to have a lot of snow or ice during the winter time. We do get chilly days, and when we do get ice storms or snow, the entire city shuts down. But for the most part, you just need to prepare for a lot of rain during the winter. And if you're not used to the sun having its own seasons, you do need to be prepared that in the winter time, the sun sets around 4:30 p.m. on the shortest day of the year. That in itself is a huge challenge for a lot of my clients who are coming from more sunny locations where you don't really have sun seasonality, and you might be more accustomed to seeing the sun throughout the entire daytime. So that's going to come as a bit of a shock to you if you are coming from a sunnier place. In the springtime, you can expect that the flowers start to bloom around March and continue until the end of May time. The springtime is when everything wakes up and begins to bloom. During the winter time, we're still going to see very lush and green landscapes, but everything is a little bit more dreary. So come the springtime, you are going to see that more things start to come in bloom, but also people start to go back outside and enjoy the sun that does occasionally pop its head out during the spring. During the springtime, you can expect to have a lot of outdoor activities and festivities start to happen again, like the farmers market and the tulip festival. Generally, people are just super eager and happy to see the sun again, so it's a very lively time of the year here in Salem. The temperature is still going to feel pretty brisk during the springtime, so expect the weather to still be chilly, about 50 to 55 degrees for the most part. The past few years have had a few weird days where the temperature has gotten up to be about 80 degrees, but that is not the norm for the springtime here. Overall, the weather in Salem consists of a lot of rain and gray skies, but in the summer and springtime, you're gonna see so many people get outside and be incredibly happy to see the sun again, even if it's just for a few moments in the day. And if you are not accustomed to the weather of the Pacific Northwest, you might have a challenging first year here, most likely because it's gonna be very different from wherever you are relocating from. And if you're feeling a little bit depressed and down in your first winter here in Salem, just know that it will pass and it will get easier with each year. The wintertime is a great time to go visit your favorite sunny place and have a little reprieve from the gloomy gray skies here. The next reason why my clients are deciding to relocate to Salem, Oregon is because of its ideal location. Salem feels like it's positioned in the most ideal location you could ever imagine in Oregon. If you're wanting to get to the Portland International Airport, you are going to be just about an hour's drive away, which makes travel incredibly convenient and easy. If you want to go to the beach and visit the Pacific Ocean, you are just about an hour and a half's drive to get there. If you want to go to the mountains for some skiing or sledding, you're only about 2 hours away. When we compare the location of Salem to some of the other popular cities and towns around Oregon that you also might be considering, like Eugene or the Oregon coast, I think the biggest difference about Salem is that you are not going to lack for anything here. If you move to a place like Eugene or the Oregon coast or Roseburg or Bend, you are going to be so much more removed from Portland International Airport. And if you're somebody who likes to travel, that's going to be a big deal because it's going to be more cumbersome to actually travel anywhere. Salem is in this really nice bubble of not being a big city, but you still have easy access to big city amenities. And I'm finding a lot more of my clients are wanting to still have those big city amenities and have easy accessibility to places like Portland and the International Airport, but they don't want the big city problems that places like Portland face. So Salem strikes a really great balance between accessibility to the best of Oregon while still being a small, manageable city. The next reason why my clients are moving to Salem, Oregon is because of the small town vibes. Salem has a population of just under 200,000 people, and while it's considered a city, it feels like a big town. The vibe of Salem is much more laid back than what you would find in a larger city, and even a place like Eugene, Oregon, which has about the same population as Salem. And when you walk the streets of downtown Salem, you are not going to be surrounded by a lot of people or a lot of foot traffic. You are going to have the ability to see the stars at night depending on where exactly you buy a house in Salem. You are going to be able to drive across town in about 20 minutes, and overall the vibe vibe of the city of Salem is just so much more relaxed than a lot of the other West Coast cities. Most of my clients are relocating from larger cities, and they're over those large city vibes. They are wanting space that is more relaxed, more chill, and a place that just doesn't have the intensity of those big cities. One of the benefits of living in a place like Salem is that you don't have massive traffic jams like big cities do. Now, I'm a girly who came from Portland, so I know what terrible traffic looks like, and I can tell you that gone are the days of having to sit in traffic for 45 minutes just to move a mile or two down the road. The traffic jams here, sure, they are worse than they were 5-10 years ago, but they are nothing compared to big city traffic. So if you're like me and you're relocating from a larger city where you are just over the idea of being stuck in your car for the majority of your commute or your day, or you even have to plan your errands around commuting times, you can kiss that lifestyle goodbye, because Salem is so much more relaxed and it's just a smaller city that has less traffic. This next reason why people are relocating to Salem, Oregon has really developed within the past year. So this is a newer update to this list. But the reason why people are deciding to relocate to Salem, Oregon is because we are more open-minded than many other states and cities. I've had this channel for just over a year now, and when I first started making these videos and helping clients relocate here to Salem, this reason was not even on the list, but more people are coming from East Coast states, Midwest states, and Southern states where policies and changes to their legislature has forced my clients to decide to sell their homes and relocate to a state that has a very different perspective on these policies. Oregon overall is very open-minded, and Salem, I think, feels like a very open-minded place. But do be mindful that, like many other states, the further you go away from the cities, the more conservative it becomes. But overall, you are going to find that Salem proper has people that are pretty darn open-minded. Now, you might be wondering, where are these people who are relocating to Salem moving away from and trying to escape? And there are two states that are continually coming up with my clients who are very specifically saying that they are wanting to move to more open-minded communities. And those two states are the state of Utah and the state of Tennessee. So if you are coming from either one of those states, or your state has similar policies, just know that there are fellow people like you who are relocating to more open-minded communities like Salem. And let me remind you that I come from Portland, probably one of the most unique places on the West Coast that you could conjure up. And if a weirdo Portland gal like me can fit in here in Salem, you can too. Now, I say all this because Salem is not the right place for everyone, and that's why I've made almost 100 videos about living in Salem. So watch those videos, take your time and do your research, and visit the city if you can. And when you're ready to buy a house here, give me a call. If you enjoyed this video, you are going to want to watch this one next. Bye, friends.